promise ukuthi ufane 100 ukuthi bonakala Jesu Kristu ngokusa kubona nje nomhlaba nakho konke osenzela khona emhlabeni sithi ngubayede inkosi solile yini awukhona manje usekhona namhlanje zonke izizwe zifabaza ilizwi lakho sithona imkhulu yakhanya ukazimela ngathi sonke isikhathi singelela lapho singafikanga khona baba ngegama likaJesu. Can you please join me on this prayer, our Father?
Kajala today, Kajala.
Hello.
Igama lami nguLungaduma. Ngokuzalwa ke ngizalwa ekhaya emakhaya. Ngisiza nje ukukhulela emakhaya. Into enhle ngikukhulela emakhaya. Ubuhle bokukhulela emakhaya uba impilo yakho. Uyavuthwa uba nama-minerals. Uhlakaniphe kancane bofike eGoli sithola abofafesi basihlakaniphise eGoli. Sithole wonke umuntu ngakubambe fast. Ngoba ubuye emakhaya vele usayibhayizela. One thing ke mufika la eGoli ufika ube confused kakhulu when it comes to ama-finances. Ziyabuya eGoli. Ya ubamba lo munye ubamba lo uzombuza umuntu uthi kanti kahle wena yini into ongayenzi wenza yonke into omunye uyasebenza uthengisa amagwinya late uthengisa izicathulo nini nama-weave yabo. So ngathi mangisoya emakhaya ngeza la eGoli ngizofunda ngenza i-hospitality babehlale bengidelela kabafowethu bethu izinto yabafazi. Ngathi kulungile sizoyincenga nje sizoyincenga ngawo lowo moya. But namhlanje nje I have companies engizionayo. You can tell abantu abalana ke ukuthi abantu abayithandayo. Uzwa esafika umuntu uthe wazonwa kamnandi. Uthe umfowethu makafika wamthengela amaflower wadlula la esibingelele ngazothini wakamnandi lensizwa. So ukunwa kwamnandi kumuntu ukuhlanganisa nanokuyiphatha kahle bona abantu aba-organized kahle siyaxolisa kakhulu ngesikhathi kulelo point lelo. Siyaxolisa ngesikhathi ngizowelcome wonke umuntu okhona. Feel free ke uparticipate. Masila akunama-speakers. Wonke umuntu oceliwe wathi uyi-speaker ikhiphe nje lento ekhanda lakho awusisona i-speaker but masilana sibhekene nama-challenges amaningi when it comes to indaba ye-financial freedom yabo and bafethu ningasjoyina kulungile. Yeah, so when it comes to indaba ye-financial freedom i-challenge vele as Black South Africans kakhulu esinenkinga yayo yabo. You find out ukuthi njengoba sonke sila mhlawumbe 90% ufushwa yikweleti omashonisa imoto bona isikole into eyiningi asi-understand kahle lento si-understandela nje just ukuphila just ukusurvive nje ukuthi sifashane. So before yonke into uzoqala nje ngala iphelele la just nje brief introduction ukuthi wenzani usho lokho ufuna sikwazi ongafuni sikwazi kulungile ufuna sazi ukuthi wena uyakukhalela uyagowa ufuna usizo ukusho nalokho yabona but mawufile ngathi hayi angikho comfortable ngizotshela abantu yabona because abanye abazila bathi ngizo-attend event but ngizosesha angizo-attend event yabona uzoqala nje lana ungasho mhlawumbe ukuthi ubani igama lakho and specialize ngani or umuntu 9 to 5 or just uzile la just learn about yonke lento yashisa la sijazi
Bachizane?
Yeah. Uqala nje la.
Sanibona.
Yebo.
Ngifikile wasangathi igama la. Ngirana i-delicious takeaway eThekwini airport endala. Hayi ngiyagowa ke. Ngoba kwami nginawo ama-custom kodwa inkinga engibhekana nayo abasebenzi hayi bangijontshela ngizama ke indlela ayibangijontshela bese ntshontshile bese ngimbanisha ukuthi imali ngingamnikezi afike amaphoyisa athi usebenzile mnikeze imali mina iqala indlela uthothote encane rebooster manje rebooster iphuza mentshontsha namhlanje kumsombuluko isonto lonke uzoyintshontsha isonto lonke irebooster bangakasehambile njengoba ngibone lo yedwa bangakabanye sebeyintshontshiwe mase ngibazi umonakalo bemkhulu kakhulu hayi ngiyagowa kanjalo bona ngifuna ukuqanga abantu ngiyagowa kodwa ama-customer nginawo maningi na ukuthi abasebenzi engibatholayo abawunaka umsebenzi wami angazi fanele njani noma khona la ngathi mhlawumbe mina owini ngiyakhathala ukutshela abantu into eyodwa gcina sengithi hayi abenza kodwa futhi kulimala mina mase ngenza njalo ngathi ngaba kumengikhona zonke izinsuku angikwazi lezi bini ubusuku angikwazi ukuba khona indawo zo2 fanele ngiphume ngiyo-order mengikhona fanele ngiphume ngiyofuna inyama yabo izinto ezingekho kale kathi ngihambile yasala kuyonakala mengikhona nje mina yonke ngihleli la hayi kuyancengeka kangangokuthi sengize ngangena esikweletini sethile ithi lami ya report nomuntu ngale ongicheckelayo ukuthi badayise kanjani imali istock sethi kanjani yonke lento angikwazi ukuzenzela zonke lezi zinto lezi ngoba enkathi esebenza lo wasemini ithili yethu mase efaka impa stock lo sifakelayo fanele ime ithili yethu ingasebenza ngesikhathi leso kanti nasebenza isikhathi sonke asikwazi ukuma futhi asikhathi ukuma sekungconywana manje ngoba senginalowo muntu lowo ngoba kodwa kune staff nje sikhona nje ngathi la abadala abangena ebusuku laba abasha abangena emini mehluko ngiyawubona nje ngenze njalo kodwa akuyona lento engi-expectile kwamanje akuyona imali efana ngiyayeza lento engiyenzayo yabo ngiyalimala kakhulu so nje ngizela nje ngicabanga ukuhamba sengitholile fanele
Siyabonga kakhulu.
Sanibonani, igama lami ngiphilile Isane. I'm originally from Eastern Cape, eMandileni. Then-ke ngisibathi-ke ngihlala eDurban, eThekwini. eThekwini ndangiye nami ngiyofunda and then nami ndenza yona i-hospitality eziphenduma. Ndayenza-ke mina ndingenayo inhloso yoku-understand ubana yintoni i-hospitality. Ndandiyenza kuba ndandifelile u-10 ngi-useless ngizibona ngathi andisufuna zivala iqaba something like that. So ndayenza-ke yona into yakwazi ukuthi ngisho singithathe esikoleni yangithatha so then ndayenza. Then when I did it, then I fell in love. Ngiyakuthanda ukupheka, I'm creative and stuff. Then ndasebenza-ke after I did my N6 ndasebenza-ke in different places. Ngabo indlela i-environment yakho healthy, indlela esetshenzwa ngayo nje ezinye izinto zenziwa ngendlela engiyaziyo, ezinye nestaff esinye abanye aba-understand walento esiyenzayo kanjalo. So I end up ndabona-ke nje mandihlala eThekwini kunomama abahlahlela inhloko mawuhamba emakethe, kunomama bapheka ukudla emgaqweni. So every time mangihamba lapha emakethe ngibona ukuthi pheke lo muntu ayingeke, I can do better than this. Indaba abantu bedayisa ukudla okunje, indaba lo muntu engcolile, indaba lo muntu eyenza lento cause lo kudla mangibuka abantu o-taxi driver bavuka ekuseni labantu bafuneke bedlile a-healthy meal nje i-diet elibe balanced because bavuka ngo-3. But why labantu benza into nje? Indaba lekabishi linje yabo nje. So look, every time this thing happened for many years, ever since ngafika eThekwini. Ngafika eThekwini in 2005 after matric wami. So ngalo lokho nginalento ethi I can do better than this, I can do better than this, I can do better than this. So after sensebenzile sengiqashile esikoleni, and then I decided ngisasiphe ngaleso sikhathi I decided ngalala emsebenzini ngiphethe isikhafutina akuthatha ukudla kwami. Athi uzothatha into oyifunayo lapha esitolo under my name, yabo. Ngicasuke phela ngoba ngiupheka ubhontshisi wami nguhalele, yabo lo. Hayi-ke and ngandaphe sengazi mangifika uzobheka ukuthi ngisiphethe yini isitsha efrijini sikhona nesitsha sami. This day ngacikeka ngathi sasa amvuki. I was a waiter, that's how amvuki sasa. Ngabheka ekhaba efrijini lami ikhona inyama ebovu, ikhona inyama enkukhu, ikhona irice, ikhona impuphu, ngayisiphinga. Fika esiphinga ngathenga ama-takeaways nje because ngiyafuna ukudla ngifaka ama-takeaways. Nginayo i-clue. Ngiyakubona emall futhi bayalamba abantu lapha. Umuntu ngo-9 o'clock funeka bese ngo-7 funeka bese sesitolo, osebenze e-back of house, osebenze front ngo-8 funeka bese sesitolo to prepare the shop. So abanaso isikhathi sokudla and mangifika nokudla kwami bayakuthatha bonke bayakudla. Ngavele ngapheka ama-takeaways awu-10 this day. Ngakufaka kwi-shopping bag. Ngafika emall ngaqala ezansi ngathi sanibonani ey'tolo make ngidini mani sanibonani ibaphema angisasebenza space engila manje ngakudla bathengayo zonke iy'tolo ngayikhukha-ke because I knew the people that were working emall. Ngafika espe ngathi sanibonani nakudla, hayi-ke bathenga ukudla-ke kwathaphuthaphu baphela. Ngalala ngino-250 so 250 wami ngahamba ngawo-order inyama. So and I carried on. So ngasebenza-ke sasebenza kuyo saxoshwa. Then I had to find another place during COVID, and then I had to start from scratch khona to a place elangingayazi, and then I had to build a client base. So ngasebenza lapho ke. But uma ngibuka okay, umsebenzi wami uyenzeka because abantu bayasihlupha-ke because sisebenza ngokudla, sisenza imali, abanye bamdaka. I-hospitality ifuna ube cautious nge-preparation of food before and after, during, yabo nje yonke leyo nto. So abanye bayenza, abanye benzi, bayantshontsha, bavuki, abasigadi isikhathi, yabo nje yonke leyo nto. So but in my heart ngiyafisa ukukhula in my thing lento engiyenzayo besides ukudayisa emgaqweni. Mina ngidayisa emgaqweni ne-content.
Original, I'm from Limpopo. I'm a radio presenter. Then only for hours anyway. Then sometimes, you know, representation like cleaner. I'm here to learn actually because I love talking a lot. I love ukusiza abantu. But unfortunately, I'm broke. So people every day ask for money.
You are not broke.
And I'm broke.
Yeah.
Yeah, every day someone says like, we inbox, hey, say yes, no negative, hey, who's a thing is including Kengeli case. Yes, I'm good. Yes, look, so I'm just broke. And I love Caesar Bank. And not only Caesar financial, even Ukuluma. I once find myself Ukuluma. Well, it was a stranger. Actually, I think I better keep and I find myself advising Baba. And I was shocked when I was alone. Kanja, because I'm Baba. I'm advice and I love seven Zangavantua.
Okay.
That's it.
Dumela. I don't know which umbrella I'm wearing today, but we'll go with the t-shirt. So my name is Dumi from Bidori. Yes, Kiahafa. Occasionally, so I am one of. Can I call myself an opportunist, right? I studied something but ended up doing other things than what I studied. By qualification, I studied public relations and events. I worked in government, in private, and 2 months back, I did this job in one of the biggest banks in Africa to follow a passion.
Definitely not capital.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I worked with private wealth clients when because I was in the business side. So I worked for commercial side of ABSA for a couple of years. And I moved quite a lot from insurance to the banking side. And then when God says it's time, I think yeah, so I ended up deciding to do what I wanted to do. I just wanted to be free from closing a 2 million rand deal, but coming home with a 12,000 rand check. That thing, a bit. So apart from that, when I left, before I joined Good Life Radio, I'm just like Ubab Duma on the side. I'm a farmer. I'm a radio presenter now, and I do events. I also want the soft life.
All of us.
Yeah. Hey.
That's why I like that song. Yeah, Siloli Mpumelelo.
Yeah.
It's my anthem. Hopefully, what I'm doing one day will result in beautiful fruit. To Abo Mama this side, I know we're not there at the advisory side, but that's ngingin. Ara khotleleng ke kopa western ke kopa ra
Short
khotleleng.
itse kuzo.
Sibekezele.
Yeah.
Sibekezele, and then uNkulunkulu phambili. Dilo tse dingwe tse we won't be able to fix ourselves. They just need God's guidance and intervention. Because business ngelinye ilanga uyavuka ngelinye ilanga. Oh, mina ngibuya ePitori sikhulumisa indrebele ne before ngizonrara la. Ngelinye ilanga siyavuka, but when you have God, ezinye izinto they become a bit better. And in Kalanani, I know how it feels. Because mina that thing mama yenza ukuthi business lami liwe. and I had to go back managing, apply and file my CV, which is very, very frustrating. So, I mean, I hats off to you, Uguti. You are still there. You are not like me, because abantu bayakumoshela. I had issues. I don't know about Duma on the farm. I had a problem with stock theft. People are not taking care of crops. And where I am and where these two farms are, because one is crop, one is livestock, it's 3 hours, 3 hours. So I've got a crop farm in Brongo Spruit, I've got a cattle farm in Tawazini. So I can't have my own company and then try and run these things as well. It's cutting, like you're saying, I see. Because ubhekele izokhipha imali manje. Farming needs patience. Am I right, though?
Yeah.
Because yeah, like Boma almost 10 months or so. So hold on and hold strong. And I do emceeing at events, but please don't call me, I'm retiring. But yeah, nice to meet you guys. I'm looking forward to hearing some good advice, and hopefully from this we will create a small family where we will cry on each other's shoulders and advise each other, because hey, Satania slinga bagiti. Thank you.
By name Kyo Lebuke, angazi benikhuluma izulu
I know.
ngiyasitswana ngizomixa Sitswana Zulu yonke into angithi thina se multiverse angithi Josi afana ngapha
Count.
Olebuke ngiyale ne from Motlhakeng, Randfontein. Okay, my background, I grew up in, keep things really short, I grew up in a family business. We have a undertaking business, a funeral parlor. Yes. So growing up in the business, you get to learn izinto.
Sure.
And then you see, okay, there are certain challenges that my dad also, he grew up in the business as well. So I'm the third generation. So obviously, you see certain challenges. Okay, now family in 21. Quality gap. You understand? So the gap is it's part of so we used to outsource body tent, outsource pomatlapa, outsource mates, outsource those kind of things. So and then naga wona go at the tent. Then I started my own business, abasebenzi. So now it is abasebenzi badial.
Oh, okay.
You understand? So abasebenzi deals with the tent. So everyone okay, no the tent. So the tent very equal like happy. So rabona go re fa makgwa tšhelete ngata ya matlapa. Because obviously about to a funeral about a little up. Understand? Carol, you know what? Let me go can scale anyana go tutanyana tabe ya matlapa. Otherwise na go scale. I have a diploma in retail business management, and then I have another diploma in entrepreneurship. So if you want to know, it's matlapa is a very, very what that's it, Papa, please. Yeah. So I gonna know I'm busy guy am matlapa. I see if it clear market la fit.
Spirit.
I no ka fit as a cat. Ana jaga my sister re mo sawa mo. I totally ta kopana. Yeah. So now ke rana taba tsa di tente ke tlo rana ya matlapa. Maybe ya di toilet go fela it's a very dirty business. But maybe
Dirty business how?
I'm like, I wanna buy some toilets.
The toilet is the challenge, yeah. Yeah, the challenge is that we can't even pray on number 2 hours. Can't look full like the lots. Want to look at that's why you man, never 2 hours. One understand? Yeah, but now otherwise, take it ilaga, kamatapa. Even the catering, you what like catering tent, what can call me.
Mobile fridge.
Oh, nice. I do not worry.
Mobile fridge.
Yes, man.
Okay.
I want to look right.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's me. I get all lot of
No, sisazokubuza
We are
futhi
coming.
mntaka imibuzo. Mningi sakuba.
Okay, good afternoon already. Okay, hi guys. My name is Kagisone Babupi, from the same township as this guy. So we grew up together. Obviously, we no longer stay in there, the both of us.
Why are such little flowers?
Hey, give her a Why is that give her
No, I'm teaching them. But next time they know. For sure. Yeah. So essentially, I'd like to start obviously by congratulating the lads. Nice event. Obviously people could have supported you a bit more, but we'll fix that. So we'll come up with a plan to fix that so that we can get more people talking. Because I think it's an important space. But well done for hosting.
Shout out, baby.
Oh, by the way, little classmate Mulesh.
Okay. All right. Hey, when.
Go way back.
Okay. So guys, I'm gonna just tell you obviously a little bit about myself. Like I said, my name is Kafiso Babupi. I'm an entrepreneur in mining. So I run 3 businesses. So my first business is mining services. So to give you a brief summary, you see those big yellow machines. So I buy those machines and I list them to mines.
Oh, wow.
So I also provide over and above that, obviously the labor component, and on some projects I actually have to manage the project. So that's really the biggest and the busiest business I have. So essentially that's it really. I mean, if you have any questions about that business, you can ask me. But yeah, I just buy machines, list them to mines, provide the service and manage. Yes. No. Can't afford most of you guys. Yeah, so that's what I do. So I provide these services to mainly the gold mining industry. So I deal with majority of the gold mines, like how many gold fields, Sibanye, hopefully Glencore soon. So I provide those services. So I've been running this specific business for about 8 years now. So before that, I was a regular worker. So I studied at BCom accounting. I used to work for Deloitte, South African breweries. So obviously, I think while I was working, I figured out, you know what, I actually like money. And the money that I'm getting here is not enough, So that's when I really went out, started businesses. I think I've been in business for a while now, since 2010 or so. So yeah, I started businesses. My first business was in construction. It failed. Obviously, I had to pick myself up. Started the mining business. So like I said, that's my biggest business for now. And then I have another business, which is in investing in smaller businesses. So what I do is, from my other business, I take that money, put it in another business, and I invest in smaller businesses. So I invest mainly in technology-based businesses. So if you have any technology ideas or fast-growing businesses, you can hit me up. I'll invest in that business. But I wouldn't invest in a funeral parlor. I try to invest in his business, but it's not my type of business. Yeah, so that's my other business. I invest in other small businesses. I fund entrepreneurs, mainly in the technology space. So if you have an app, if you have some groundbreaking technology, I think the first business we invested in is a hospital management system. So instead of writing files manually for some hospitals, which has actually worked quite great. And then my other business is basically just an investment holding business. So we're looking for small mining assets that we can invest in. So if you have a mine in your backyard, you can hit me up. On that business, I have partners. Yeah, so guys, like I said, I mean, I've been running businesses for quite a while. It is challenging. I know it's easy to some people, the nice things, the nice whatever, and life and whatever. But it is challenging. I think I share challenges with everybody here. Although my business is quite corporatized, I have structures, I have managers, I have foremen, I have a PA, I have accountants and whatever, but we still go through the same challenges. So my advice to you guys is don't give up. Like I said, I started this a long time ago, like almost 13 years ago, and I think it only started working out in 2018 or 2019. So my advice to you is don't give up. Work at it. I think try and learn from others. I did. Everybody thinks that I'm smart and I know, but I learn from other people. I think that's important. I think keeping the right business company is important because you learn from other business people. So if you can do that, you have a high chance of getting it right. Just surround yourself with the right people. I surrounded myself with mining people. That's why I went into mining.
Yeah.
So already when I got my first big contract, I already understood the language, understood the business, I understood the challenges. So I think it's very key just to surround yourself with key people in your industry, if in catering. Just make sure that you align yourself with people that are in catering, that have been in your journey, that are now big. Yeah, if you have a radio station, make friends there. That's how you learn, and you learn from people. I don't think anybody's smart enough to wake up and write their own business plan and basically run their own business. So I think that's very important. So if anybody has a question, you can ask me. Unfortunately, there's no positions available at the moment. But yeah, you can ask me anything. I mean, really, I'm here to give you. I'm here to listen to stories. If I can help you with something, you can hit me up. You can hit Molesh up. I'll try and connect you with the right people. I don't know all the people, but I know some people in the business industry. You can hit Molesh up. Then I can try and hook you up with whoever you need to speak to. Cool guys.
Sanibonani. Igama lami uBusisiwe Cebekhulu. I'm from KZN. Ngakhulele eMlazi, then samuva eMaritzburg, but I've been based in Joburg for a while. By profession, I'm an events coordinator. But I have a company, it's called CAF Productions. CAF stands for Creation, Artistry and Film. So basically what the company, or at least what we do in that company is we aim to add value in the creative sector by creating concepts and ideas and bringing them into existence. So maybe, to just make an example, aligning Elunga Duma with an Investec, because Investec wants to achieve 1, 2, 3, and Lunga Duma is an entrepreneur, and he fits in, and then they maximize on that or idea. Example, yes, but I'm here as a scholar more than anything else, to learn as much as I possibly can on business and different industries. And yeah, I think that's pretty much. Sanibonani guys. Igama uBrilliant isibongwa kaRaghetsi ngompedi guys okhulele eJoburg, so I'm more of speaking Zulu than Ispedi, so yeah, I don't know. Okay, in profession I'm doing an 8 to 5 job as a bookkeeper. Where else? Yeah, bookkeeping, doing most of what is needed in the company. I'm more like, if I'm not there, things will fall down in the company. So yeah, so I also want to be like you guys, give a businesswoman. We have a business we registered no Mawami, but financially, I think that's where the problem is, or maybe we haven't met the right people to get that. It's a catering company, and me, I'm stuck on the 9 to 5 job because there's bills to pay, there's certain things to do. You can't leave your 9 to 5 to do a business where you don't know what's going to happen. So at this moment, we are just stuck there trying to actually get that company running. We registered it in 2018, and till now we haven't really were able to get it working or bringing in any funds in the company. At the moment, I'm the only breadwinner. Both my parents are not working, so I'm the one helping them out with everything. So I'm also studying part-time, pursuing my accounting degree, accounting sciences. And hi guys, I'm going to summer flames. Good rough.
But yeah, I'm holding on, and I'm hoping someday ngizoyeka vele and then continue with a successful business.
What do you mean?
Yeah, best for last.
Sanmanani, igama lami uZinhle wakwaNgubane. So I am a qualified accountant and and yabon mele sibe la. And I think I recently went into business, right? I've been doing taxes, finances for people. So I've been consulting. I've got a company called Luhle Consultants, which is what I'm doing. What I also do, I can do work, actual work. So it's quite flexible and I'm able to sort of move around in that space. What else do? I am a presenter. I work on Gospel News SA. It is a gospel channel. I present there. So we're sort of trying to tap into every little thing that we can tap into and see what sticks, right? Yeah, that is me.
Hey everyone. Yeah, sure. Speaking is not nice, eh? It's quite daunting. No matter how many times you do it. Okay, my name is Tebogo. Born Tebogo CRP. I am from the West Rand. Mkobega's Dali. Molebogeng is my niece. Well, I like to call her my best friend sometimes, or my plus one. She knows what I'm referring to. Yeah, man. Yeah, shout out to you, man. You know, shout out to Mulesh. You are doing something that many of us are afraid to do because we're afraid to start. And you're starting small, and this is, humble beginnings. And this is where, all the greats have started. Like you said it this morning. You were like, Kendrick Lamar performed for 20 people, for five people. And look at him now. Look at him now. We're going to Hey Neighbor, But anyway. By profession, I am a marketing and media graduate. I'm in the media space, but passionately, and what God has given me is in the music industry. So I'm a DJ. I've been playing for about 16 years. My DJ name is Miss Jones. Yeah, so it's just really me trying to crack the creative industry and the business that is in the music industry, and not just be a DJ and whatnot. So I also have a 9-to-5. It is still aligned with media and creative industry. I work for Vision as well. So I'm still trying to position myself and just to bring in alignment as to the brand Miss Jones, and also just being a professional in the media and the marketing space. So I'm really just here to try and crack as to how do I land on solid ground and do this thing wholeheartedly without having to lean on a 9-to-5. You know what I mean? I'm really inspired by people like Achiso and Tipa. We go way back, Libo, and then what they're doing is in the spaces is really amazing. And when you're aligned with your purpose, that's really what I'm trying and praying to get to, without, like I said, having to lean on a 9-to-5. So what I really need to do is just to crack the brand Miss Jones, and to solidify it and to grow it, and I still, to this day, 16 years, and I still don't know how I'm not getting it right. Like you said, leap of faith. I quit my job, I think it was in 2015, 16, went deep into the music industry, into the entertainment industry. I was at some point signed by one of the biggest record labels in the country, Mabala Noise. We did amazing things. We recorded music, we released music. You know, we did music videos. We performed on big stages. I performed on really amazing stages. You know, there was a point where I even performed after the January 8th statement, just after Zuma, you know, got off stage, and I got on stage. You know, how amazing is that? You know, I've been in really amazing spaces, man. Spaces that I couldn't even get myself to with my own power. You know, but I really believe that's what, you know, God has placed me here on earth to do. And I also have a foundation called Girl Power. I believe in empowering, you know, a young girl child with whatever resource that I have. So we did quite a few programs with schools around the West Rand, particularly in the Randfontein and Western area areas, where we would gather, you know, young girl child, just to empower, encourage, ignite, you know, inspire, give something, yeah, and just to shift and change mindsets, you know, and just to inspire these kids. I mean, you know, there are a lot of things that are happening in and around the areas that restrict them and tell them, no, this is who you are, and you are defined by where you are and where you come from and what your parents are saying and what your community are saying, and you can actually break free from that by just, you know, like aligning yourself with the right people and just changing your mind, just telling yourself, this is not it, this cannot be it, you know. So that's what I'm passionate about. I just want to make a difference, especially in Kokasi. You know, I want to make a positive impact through what I do. And the minute I fall into a dark corner, because I have a lot of those, and I want to give up, I think of those girls. You know, I think of these girls. This is my daughter. This is my niece. Where's often our camera content ladies, my niece. I think of such, you know, such girls, and if I give up Lebon, I give them an opportunity to say, she gave up that one. So, you know, so I really just want to inspire, and for me to inspire, I need to push. But pushing with the right tools and the right information and the right connections, the right contacts and whatnot, and knowing what to do and having structure, because I can't just go flamingo and go play and rock the people and go back home, and then, you know, I don't make some sort of an impact. So I want to make an impact with what God has given me as Miss Jones, as Tebogo, as a woman living in South Africa, from an ordinary township of Beggersdal, trying to, you know, make it and inspire other women, even men, boys, to say, go for your dream. You're not limited by anything, not by your surroundings, not by your background or your whatever, friends, or you're not limited. Doesn't mean, I mean, guys, but not a lot of you know, a lot of people would say that, because I would read, you know, I would try and do my own research. I would try and align myself with people that are so, this one, let me piggyback, you know, I learned something. So it's about learning and developing yourself and constantly polishing whatever that it is that you're passionate about. So, hey, I'm gonna speak the whole day. And you were exactly.
When you're approaching like a spa, you can say to them, look, I'll give you the product on time, or I'll give you whatever kind of product, you know.
Not 50% off.
No.
Yeah.
You know, I actually want to touch on that.
Yes.
So the worst thing you can do is get to a client and say, I'll do it for cheaper.
Yeah.
That's the minute you lose their respect.
Yes.
And they want to take advantage of you. So, for instance, I'm expensive, right, compared to other people. I'll say to a person, look, I'm going to rent you this truck for this rate per hour. You know, and I stick to my price no matter what, because I know the value that I'll give. So your price owner must be very careful. I think a lot of young entrepreneurs make a mistake with that, saying, no, I'll do this. Cheaper is not going to work. You're going to lose money. Your price is your price. It's either they want your service because of your unique selling point or not.
ngifuna ukungena kule topic yakho. You only do that if that business oyenzayo iplan yakhona is for long term, or you do that even if it's a short term goal. I can phela kunama short term goals obona ukuthi hayazi and I can change my prices here. Need to fast ngithole le mali ngithola and then focus here. So you only do that with every businesses that you do.
Product, every truck, every TLB, front end loader, I stick to my price, and that's it. No negotiation.
Yes.
If I'm providing a quality, because I know what I'm providing, providing a quality service. So I think you touched on that earlier on.
Yeah.
Another thing that we do, more especially as black entrepreneurs, is that you don't take your business seriously, and I call it taking your business seriously. So I take my business seriously. You know, when I negotiate with somebody, they know that this is what I'm saying, this is what I'm selling, and this is the value that I'm giving you. Whether you're gonna buy it or not, it's fine.
It's okay.
Yeah, and you must be willing to walk away, because a lot of people make that mistake. I've made that mistake before, where I said, no, I'm gonna be cheaper than WPHO and whatever. And when you get to the finish line, that client is actually laughing at you, like, this guy, he said he could do it for cheaper. He's done it. Let's just pay him. And it happened to me a lot in the past. And I learned my lesson to say, look, when somebody approaches me, when I approach somebody, this is my price. Obviously, I'm not gonna go in with a ridiculous price. I price according to what I offer.
Yeah.
And you need to believe in that. And I think once you start talking that kind of language to clients, they can actually see it. They can actually hear it in your voice that this guy is serious. This guy is not messing around. He's not here to cut the prices in half. That's not what clients want. And I think that's the mistake also we make. We think that the client is always looking for the cheaper offer.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
The client literally, most instances, they want you to solve their problem. They don't want to be thinking about production over the weekend while he's having a braai. He knows, KG is taking care of the mine. He's producing. Production is going up. They'll pay you anything. I promise you, they'll pay you anything. That's why price very sensitive. Miss Jones, when you go to
Tango
Coffee, you must say, this is my value. I've been sent to Mabala Noise.
Can I come in this before going back to price? There are many
funeral palace.
The funeral palace with fly-by nights and whatnot, where you can get a cheaper coffin. You can get a coffin for 5,000. I understand, for example. I understand. But now, because of quality and everything, and the way it's okay, right? Standard
Standard is very high.
Standard is very high. Quality cars, quality. The Machita was always clean. Everything is clean. Everything. It goes back to that. 5,000 go patela 5,000. Come on, le box le tsol khoka motho wela mo fase.
Yeah.
I hear you on pricing. So what if you're still trying to break ground?
Yeah.
As in, you're still trying to build this brand, and you understand that if I just lower my prices a bit, and I do this job, and it's going to open another network for me. So then essentially, I'm going to gain. Or is that the wrong approach?
You are protected.
Your network will also want
before everyone comment on that. Yes.
Especially in a competitive especially in a competitive environment. Is that the wrong approach to say, okay, I'll just decrease a bit and sort of obviously do the job, show you how well I can do it, and then hopefully it would open this network, and then as I grow, I increase my prices and eventually get to the standard, or at least the pricing that I want to have.
Okay, when I can feel bambe lapho sizwe kunemanye ama opinions ngala. Ngena sisi fast uzongena umzimba. Yes.
I support Kagiso. When we started off Saluni, we would also charge price of fat.
Okay, uchu.
Ke tole tsogala very starting ke go stadium go ratso 10
So, by keep manje guys ne ngiyadlala. Yes,
Customers they know they can get that same service for less.
but the lady spoke about what sets you apart from cafes, and that's what makes the customer come to you. In, like I was trying to say, we also used to start please about, but I realized you please about to at your own expense. But please, and they don't even come back. They were actually there to look for mistakes happen. And even if they stay, should you do a mistake, they will never come back. Bale who were willing to pay that price, not compromising, they are the ones who are actually going to advocate for you behind your back. So I feel you need to know your market, stand your ground, and don't. And you know, just to give you a short story, there's a saloon in Elimoksugasdorp. It was quite popular. Kamuki West. The lady moved.
For me, like I said, price is the worst thing you can try and break ground with. I think there's other ways of breaking ground. There's quality, like Refulo speaks about, right? You can break ground with quality. Once you approach a client, you need to speak a different language. Don't worry about the price. Just say to them, look, I can offer you this, and I can do it better, and I can increase your production or whatever industry you're in, or you know, I can improve the quality of what I'm producing. I think there's other ways to break ground. So the minute you put price at the back of your head, trust me, you will win. You will win, yeah. So it's like getting into a room with prices, because trust me, that guy that you're negotiating with is going to smack you. Actually, you're giving him, he's like, oh, I'm so happy. Oh, you can do it for half. Yes,
And there's
that's
always
it.
somebody who'll be better.
And
than
people
you.
will always
Stand
pay, yeah,
your
exactly. And
ground.
people are willing
Also,
to
I
pay.
think, but I more kakhulu than just ukuhlala kwi-price yakho. I think into akazama ukisho, not unless ukhuluma ngokuhlukile. There's sisikamba ubani sisikamba? Brilliant. Yeah, there's usisi brilliant. Ufuna ukuqala company yama juice, ukuthengisa ama juice. And uyazi ukuthi competitor yami Citrus. Yeah, bona laba targetable. But okwamanje angikakatholi man into ezohlala isikhathi eside kuma shelves. So ama juice wami ayabola after 7 days. Angikwazi ukucompete kahle nawo. Let me start with amanzi. Right? So that's mangena kule market leya qale ngama juice. And then obviously with water, mhlambe i-profit yakho oyenzayo thenga ngo-3 rand ubathengisa ngo-6 rand, you're making 100% profit. While i-competitor yakho mhlambe kanile first, yeah, bona bawathengisa ngo-7 rand, right?
So when I get a client, a big client, I must have started somewhere and obviously built my brand as well to get to a point where even when I come to you, I am confident and I can even, there's reference. But for me to get to that point, and I know that I'm supposed to charge 5,000 or for whatever service that I'm providing. But for me to get to that point, I need to sort of do smaller things, or at least sort of get in, you know, and just sort of build this brand. I don't know if I'm making sense.
No, I get you. I get you. That works for me. Like I
Yeah,
said.
but I think
that's the advice I always give to
ekhulunywa
people.
ukagiso yenza sense kakhulu. If you were to negotiate anything nomuntu nge-price, chances are uzoluza vele.
Because they'll also always remember you for that low price.
Yeah.
And then by the time
That's where I want to enter. Can I just say quickly? I had a conversation. I had this conversation yesterday, last night. We were at a gig. So this lady, Miss Jones, what this lady is doing right now, she was playing. And what you're doing, it's the same thing. And yet she gets paid way more than you just because Kikoto, Kumokahiso, it's local. But when they pay you less, but you're doing the same thing. It got me thinking, oh, okay. It's the price that I initially gave them, the price that I started with. That's the value Ebam Billion Koyon from there on, from the onset. Kimoki Sintenkote.
And so I was very happy with you.
I promise you, I wanted to, I said to him the other day, no, I've increased my rate. And he was like, Johnny, do you understand? No, like, nah, the business is not doing well. But the following weekend, he had a bigger DJ. So they will always put a cap on your value from what you gave them from the start.
Cool when because you are passionate about that, and she's not. She's there for business. Yeah, and it has nothing to do with passion. And I've worked such a time living this thing, and I'm focusing. yabo. So now izokuthinta kakhulu indaba ye-pricing because once you change i-price yakho so ufuna ukuthi ikusupport-e kahle bethi no iyakushaya ngoba you are passionate ngale nto le. And if you don't attach emotions akho to the business, it's easy to say, this thing doesn't work, let me use another strategy to make money. But if you are passionate about anything, vele in a price, so by challenge whether
You will overlook.
no more because I can compete no bafo ngiyenze lento akayenzayo and bangibhadale more or bangibhadale less, and if ngiyabona ngathi azikhiphi laba bangibhadala more and ngiziqalela amanzi ithi yazi let me leave this thing because I was not even passionate about that thing yabo, or that was not my vision. I wanted imali ngokuthi ngiyakhuluma ngemining ngathi kunemali ngiyenze bangibona ngathi
Money, by the way. I like money. I don't have money. I like money.
Ngizowathengisa but noma ngayehlisa i-price ngizowathengisa azoyenza le 100,000, it's fine yabo. Whether uthengisa eli one wena and wenza the same 100,000, it's still fine with me because my target was money yabo. But with you are building a brand, so there's a difference when you are building a brand and when you are just there for money yabo. So Mulesh is candy brand yabo. So angeke sithi hayi besi 20 why maybe ungathi mahala ubona sizogcwala. With you it's different yabo. But mina if bengizele lapha inamba ukuthi mangiya kwi-sponsor ngithi bheka mfana nginabantu abangakanani, I'm not building a brand, I'm just doing it for numbers yabo. So I think ngiyarelate kangcono now ukuthi sometimes vela uma ngibona i-competitor yami yetha. So there's this story. These guys are selling eggs by 3, so it on TikTok, selling eggs. The other one thengisa nge-30 rand, lo wathengisa nge-40 rand, this one wathengisa nge-50 rand. Qale kuphele lawo we-30 rand bamjambe, kuphele lawo we-40 rand bese beza kuye. By the time beza kuye sekulate bathenga nge-1 bahamba, washintsha wathi yazini sengiwathengisa 40 rand njengalo. Kuphele lawa still, kuphele lawa lo ngalo bamjwayele bagcine futhi ngayo. Athi no angehle ngize kulo so that kuzophela kalo kuze kimi kugcine ngayo. Washintsha i-price, kwaphela kalo kwaphela wakhe kwagcina ngalo. But okay angivele ngehle kakhulu futhi bazoqala ngami wehla wabeka ku-25 rand kwaphela wakhe kuqala bagcina ngalo nalo. And then these ones baqala bathi siyehla nathi, so mabehla bathi 25 rand wawathenga wonke same time wawabeka la wathi 70 rand. So he's the only one now ufuna ukwenza imali mina ngayo. Nanoma abantu sebebuya seya-create the relationship nama-clients ukuthi noma sengingabiza 5 rand thina sesijwayele ukahesi sesijwayele usizo, but not all the time. Sometimes mina nje uthi ukhuluma nami kunama-products uthi ukhuluma nami ngibe ngilalela i-price uzoshaya i-presentation yakho uze uqele bese uma ufika lapha bese uthi 5 rand nakho-ke sisebenzisa wena yabo. And sometimes the very same price izovele ithi ngithi you are too cheap, I don't trust you yabo. So not all the time ukuthi i-price yasebenza. Sometimes I just say hayi lo uzokhanda indlu ngemali engaka hayi izoyiwisa yabo.
Asenzoyakha ngeviki and bayawakha nkosikazi.
Like financial literacy kakhulu ama-businesses it has understand ukuthi imali isebenza kanjani njengoba usisi ubesho ukuthi bayamtshontshela. And njengoba ukuthi the only thing akayinotisayo unothisa ukuthi hayi i-stock sengisithenga more ngemali eningi manje angazi ukuthi kwenzakala kanjani. Kanti uma wazi ukuthi hayi this is how we run things like bookkeeping and indaba yama-finances, the importance of having someone ozokuranela ama-finances akho kwi-business. Why should we have that one? Because thina sabantu besifuna ukuze ngiyi-CEO, i-financial advisor, ngiyi-bookkeeper, ngumashanela futhi yayibona leyo nto leyo. So sifuna ukwenza konke ngesikhathi esiyi-one. The importance
ngoba ngipatrekiwe, but I think I'm just gonna speak from the top of my head, right? And I think ukubaleka, actually let me start here. It is important for you as a business owner to be financially literate. And my advice is always yes but my advice is always go and watch YouTube on finance basics, the basics as a finance. I'm not talking audits and reporting, no, the basics of finance, so that should there be something eyenzakalayo ebhizinisini yakho uyakwazi ukuyipick up ukuthi no man khona into off, right? Because accountants are humans as well. I mean, you work with staff as well that steals from you, njobu sister asho. And if that happens, you need to be able to pick it up. You know, and I speak from a sense, there's a lady engimenzela i-finance yakhe, and there's a lady at reception, very quiet, very reserved, very chilled lady. What she does is
every week she takes 1,000 rand when she's supposed to cash up. Uyithola 2 years later, leyo nto leyo ukuthi there's actually been this theft that's happening. And if she knew, because she looks at those books but she doesn't understand what's happening, if she knew, pick up a what is happening here, you know? And she's like, how? 40,000 wonke gone, type of thing, you know? And umbuza manje 40,000 anginayo, and amanganayo akanayo, there's nothing you can do about it, you understand? So I think it's very important to be financially literate. I'm not saying go roll up for E or sign up for E course, like a degree, your finance. No. They're small courses. Isn't why there are online courses. I think LinkedIn also offers smaller courses on there. Oh, UJ also, yeah, like, or an accountant or a person that you know that does finance. One day I see go through lentole or revigi. Give me a week. Let's go through this finance thing, right? Now I come to a financial advisor, accountant, planner, whatever you want to call it. The importance of those people is we come in and we assess and we assist with your financial goals, right? So I am your partner. Instead of going to fetch your wife, if you have a wife, or your husband, if you have a husband, to be your accountability partner, you have an external person that does that for you, right? And remember, Mina, there's no attachment, there's no relationship. Relationship over two personal needs. I've got no attachment to certain things. My goal is to come in, and I'm not talking about just me, I'm talking about an accountant. So my just know financial advisor or accountant. Ne? So my goal is to come in and make you account for the financial process of your business, right? And I always say I'm very strict. That's what I tell people that I work with. I'm like, I'm strict. I'm gonna need the documents that I need from you. I'm gonna need you to be able to account. I'm gonna need you to be on the ball, because one failed thing is linked directly back to me. Not realizing that you did not come to the party, right? So it's a working relationship where we account, basically, where you account rather, finances and how you make decisions, financial decisions in your business, type of thing. So I say it's important. I know people usually ask me, okay, nyakala, angagabina nexi. Is it important for me to go and find a financial advisor? And my answer is always yes. Please do, because where you invest, I could help you. I could help guide you. Rather, there goes the English. I could help guide you in the places that you can, and the places that might not work. And that's why I was another question. Did you do that financial forecast? Is this going to be a thing? But you as an individual, because you don't have that background, it's not a thing. Yeah. Yours is, you charge you 380, you profit and that's that. But there's forecasting that goes into place. I'm able to say, I do the work, I do the research, I go and I find out, and I come back and I give you that information, and you take that information and you do what you want with that information. I'm guided by your I don't know, your word, if I may say. It's important to have a financial person from the get-go because of that reason. They help you with your investments, they help you with your financial goals, they help you with where you would like to go financially with your business. I am not saying, because I know people expect to say, Mangiti, I'll help you. You expect to invest a 50,000 and say, Zinhle by December, November, man. By December, ngifuna ibe million. That's unrealistic, It's not impossible, but it's unrealistic, and that's not the purpose of a financial planner. It's just to help you. I don't know. Work smarter to make the profits that you need to make. Invest smarter to see the cash flow come into your business the way you would like to see it happen. Well, some people think an accountant is just for SARS. Because people only come to us, you'll see a flood of people coming. And I'm thinking, what were you doing the whole year? Bekwenzakalani unyaka wonke sowufika ngesikhathi se-tax season, and now I need to figure out what you did the whole year and try fix the mistakes of what you did the whole year, and now I need to fix them in a month because usars uyavala and so uthola ama-letter wena. You understand? So I always say those are the little things that your accountant takes care of. You know, you don't have the time to do that. You can't be managing the operations and also managing abosars nan. It takes time. It's a dreadful process. But paying a person to do that is an investment. It's really an investment. And I like what Ukagiso was saying, Oguti. There's a segregation of duties in his business, because if we're being realistic, you can't do everything. There's absolutely no way that you can do everything with business. So if you have people that have expertise in certain areas, use them. You understand? And it's not all accountants or financial advisors that are expensive. Akusibo bonke. It's about building a relationship again. You come to me, siyakhuluma, you know, maybe there's a package of some sort that can accommodate you.
I don't think that's a fair question.
But I always answer this question and say,
Imagine if I was asked that question.
yeah, that question is not
Look at estimation.
a straight price.
Yeah, without any discount.
Without Ubuntu.
I knew
Without Ubuntu.
Honestly, that process is not a one size fits all.
Yes.
It's a customized
Choose one customer
thing,
and then
right? So the lowest that I've gotten for ukwenza,
What the price?
That price.
the lowest that I've gotten was 1,005.
A month.
it's reasonable.
Was it a month?
1,005, yes.
A month.
Yes. Per month, sorry?
per month.
Per
Per
month.
month, ma'am. For the whole year, yes. But,
Sorry.
but,
No, monthly. I need it's monthly.
on a month, I guess you need to manage your books on a month-to-month basis. Yes. Yes. And I always say to abantu month-to-month, it's much better for them, because by the end of the year, last kumele submitting there's ninkon. Yonke into yakho is in order. But if you're gonna come to me, last we rush, then I'll charge you a 15,000 for a once-off fix-up, or 25,000 for a once-off. Yes. So now it's gonna be heightened. It's hefty. It's a lot. So yeah, but yeah, that's that.
Kulo 1.5 lowest wakho usuke upinpoint into bana okay ngizokwazi ukwenzela 1 no 2 no 3 no 4 no 5
Yes.
no 6 no 7.
So that that was just the price. But E15 is just the general
Keeping.
book. Yes, Mama. Yes. Yes. So izinto business yakho ezimele ngabe ziyayenza in terms of finances, that price includes those things. And then I was going to add, then there's a price list for add-ons. So mawuzothi ngicela ungibhekele ne, then you must top up your 450 or whatever the case may be. So there's a price list for add-ons, but le iba ama basics with business that you need to have. In company you pick up imaiti, ngifuna in yakho, you are able to produce it immediately.
15K. Comply and then complain later.
Yeah.
And it's also very important to see yourself being corporate.
Yes.
Because, like you said, your shop, because then I always challenge myself, like I'm in a process of, government fundings, and where I come from, there's a guy that when I always talk about, for this guy's always complaining about business, on social media, and it repels customers. It also repels us from wanting to help him, or But then I thought to myself, but this guy has been in business way longer. Okay, we maybe started around the same time, but he's got more connections and And then one thing I've also learned, even if we can't afford an accountant, there's nothing wrong in knocking at the same door 100 times, because eventually the 100th knock might be your answer. Knocking on those doors, double GEP, Bosida for those financial courses, because then I like, because it's hard being the cleaner.
Yeah, I want my client.
I'm going to contact you.
Yeah, of course.
you know, because we especially us as black people, I think we are so indoctrinated to complain.
Yeah.
We
True.
complain about
Everything.
everything. Even more complain now, we find something to complain and not look for a solution in that complaining, because it's unfortunate, like you also said, the other DJ might be offering, them DJs offering exactly the same thing, but it might have not been Tebogo's time, or her value proposition was totally different, hence bamu label more pricing in. It's also your image, you know, how you carry yourself.
100%.
I always tell her, I don't represent my brand well. I come to work sometimes, you know, but I've learned when on the day that I come get the uniform, I style is 800, bansa siras, buy inside 800 that day, because my look and my confidence, and she knows.
Image, right? Even if, I mean, obviously your image is not that good, but your brand needs to look good.
Yes.
Right? And I think a lot of small businesses take that for granted. Like you start a business, you just register CIPC, Kagiso project, whatever, but you don't have a logo, you don't have branding, you know. And I know that stuff can be expensive, but you need to sacrifice. I think the minute you walk into a room and your branding is on point, you are on point, people will take you seriously, even if you don't. I remember when I started, I didn't have anything. It's not like I had a truck when I walked into the mine, but these people could see that this presentation, this guy's serious. You know, he has portraying a certain image. His business has a good image. You know, it's well represented, and I think people take you seriously, and that's very important. It's very key. Like, people take that for granted. Because nobody's going to just listen to you say Kagiso project and whatever. No, I have trucks. No. Exactly. Exactly. So treat it like a big business. You're a small business, but treat it like a big business.
Ungena nje kuwe wena Kagiso, manje sesingena futhi kule yemali. Ngiyayithanda imali yo. Yeah, yeah.
Ungathanda imali asukumisa isandla.
Ufuna mali ngadala. Right. Ungena kulento ekhulunywa uKagiso vele yabona yonke lento esiyikhulumayo sometimes kwabanye abantu mhlambe abafana nathi uyayizwa ikhuluma ngeaccountant, ukhuluma ngebranding, ukhuluma ngelogo, and uhleli phansi ucabanga ukuthi yazi ngishoda even nange 400 yokustock. Labantu ngizoyithatha le mali abakhuluma ngayo, yabo. Kodwa kunepoint akalikhulumile ke uzinhle athi sometimes come sizoxoxisana ngizoyibona vele into yakho ukuthi lento le ayenza imali, so but ine potential yokwenza imali. The day wenza imali uzonginikeza imali yami, yabona. Yeah, sinovalo thina to go ku Kagiso ithi Kagiso mfethu awungiqalise into ekanje, awungenzeli logo, yabona, and then now uyabona manje lento engifuna ukuyenza anginana ama-ice, ngifuna ukuthengisa ama-ice mara awekho, yabo. Kagiso uzothi yazini the day uthengise one packet, come and pay, yabo. So what we do, we also have a company abayibiza Broken Stool Media, where we deal with the branding, marketing. We do the same thing ekhulunywa uzinhle. Kune business umuntu ayiletha e-office, makafika e-officeini silalele sibona ukuthi there is no way sekanayo imali yakhona, yabo, ayikho imali yala, but at least makaya kwi-investor ku-Miss Jones akaye seka-prepared, yabona. There's a business plan, there's a business profile, there's a business proposal, there's a logo, yabona. Yonke into yakhona ihlelekile, so we do that for you. So ama-logos wethu aqala ku-450, corporate 7,000, but nje abantu ama-11 450 ukuya phezulu. Ama-business plans wethu aqala ku-3.5 ukuya le phezulu, and then we assist ngabo-gap ukuthi uma sikwenzela i-business plan, so sesisiza abantu abaningi be-applyela i-gap ethola i-funding. Uma sikwenzela i-business plan, asikwenzela i-business plan just for you, kodwa senzele ukuthi uma ungathi uthatha u-short left or short right uthi uya kwi-gap, bazothi uma beyibuka bangalokhu bayi-questiona kube yi-issue yokuthi ayikakaphumi imali, yabona. But bangalokhu bathi kusashoda, because we consult for financial projections. We have abantu esiconsulta nabo ukuthi this part can you help kule part le, yabo. So if une business obona noma uyibuka into yakhona uthi
and the idea I had initially was I wanted to connect with people, and those people should connect with each other, you know, like exchange any service, yabo. And the reason I started is because I was interested in business, and then I'm just like, what's the simplest way or the cheapest way of approaching people in business, and and I also wanted to build my own community of network where I have access to people and say, Fifi ke tlhokang Kagiso ke batla mang ke batla in ke ya kae ke tseng wa tlhaloganya. So it worked to my benefit, you know, because now I can actually now start making money out of it, because initially making it up because I was just like, I like this, but I don't
soft line.
Yeah. So when I know, okay, since now finally this is like one thing that I've started, and even though I got grant infinity batla initially but who right, I will achieve something this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I presented ko Lunga was I wanted to help people with brands. That's Sogolan, because there are so many people banality brand, banality ideas, marabaiti execution. So I'm very creative. So I'm very creative. I like mutata idea or spot that talent. It's easy for me to say, this is how you should go about it. This is how you should approach it. This is where you should go. This is how you should position yourself. This is the story you should tell the people, you know. So when I know I'm working with an artist, he's a DJ. So okay, when because he's been doing it, but he's not getting where he wants to, and so we're working with him now. It's exciting, it's fun. I love doing it, you know. So I'm really, really passionate about that. But more than
Sure. Thank you for hosting this. Firstly, I think it's always so beautiful to be with people and share, you know, space in Savant and what they think and how they think. So thank you for that. So for me, I think I have a lot of takeaways that I'm also going to take and go implement. One of them is not short selling yourself. I think I struggle with that because I'm such a nyakzwela, it's a price type of person. So I think for me that's the biggest thing. Uguti, my price is my price. You know, yes, we'll build a relationship, but when I say this is this, this is that, you know. So I think that's the biggest one of the biggest ones for me. And yeah, it was lovely to meet everyone, and I know Uguti after last mingilanyana and you know,
Skokosa Game, thank you so much for bringing us all together. You know, I've always wanted to have conversations with some of the people that are here. What I took from the session is, you know, just always putting a high value to myself. Stop compromising and also short selling myself. You know, there were a lot of things that were, but it was good. It was fruitful. It did exactly what it was supposed to do. Never mind the number, but the value you can't take away. You can't take away. So big ups. Thank you so much. Keep on keeping on. Next year we are here.
Yeah.
The other, you know, and it's gonna be, the numbers will increase, but don't focus on that. Focus on the impact that of what you want to achieve with this. Danko.
I'm happy you didn't give up, Lebo. I think we've had so many conversations where she was like, yo, Fifi, yo, I need this, yo, but I like the tenacity, because I also learned from you not giving up, because like I said earlier on, I was on the verge of just absolutely closing the business altogether, you know. But it's funny how you tell somebody don't give up, but you giving up. So as business people, I've just learned you need a circle of friends who understand what you are going through as well, because then we draw strength from each other. Because I do the event, the DJ, what she's going through. But when we talk about businesses, because that's what we live on, you know, and if your soul and your business is not right, it's hard to implement the right in your life, you know. So I'm really happy to be here. For me, it was really fulfilling spiritually as well, and I've learned from hearing other people's. And confirming do not ever downgrade your prices, never. Yeah.
Nakare bring me here. Ka gore nkebe ke le kontlong stressing about the exam I wrote on Wednesday, which I think I'm gonna fail. And again, guys, you don't understand. I was writing this module for like the 5th, if not the 6th time. So it's bad. No. Okay. Financial. Management accounting. Well, I wrote the other one,
which hopefully, but yeah, financial nets. So yeah, but other than that, I've learned a lot, and yeah, I think I'm gonna consider bringing business plan. You guys, you do. We have a logo, but maybe we might need to change it. And yeah, hi guys, money.
Okay, thank you so much. I also found you through TikTok on his live, and I thought, okay, I'd like to be part of this and learn as much as I can. My takeaway is today definitely pricing, and how it sort of sets the standard for your brand. You know, I never really looked at it that way. I always felt like, well, maybe if you just, and then build your way up, and another important thing that Zinhle said was working harder on your hustle, and that becomes like your main thing. So your business is not a side hustle; it's your main thing, and then whatever else that you do, or your 9 to 5 is your side hustle. I think looking at it that way also game changer. So yeah, thank you.
Molesh, no, thanks for hosting. I know I give you a lot of problems, but yeah, very hard to get on. Yeah, but thanks guys. I mean, it's a nice event. I think it's always important to sort of get the views about in other businesses. I think sometimes when you're in a particular industry, you get so caught up in what you're doing, you don't even understand the experience about Baba. And I think it's important because it makes me also question a couple of stuff about my own business, because I'm so fixated on I'm doing mining and that's it, So I think it's a lovely session to meet everybody, to hear, people's problems, to express my problems, obviously to take advice, to give advice. It's always lovely. And I think you must keep it up. I think these sessions are important, especially for entrepreneurs, I think the next time we must have a target to at least invite 3 people each, people that are here, you know what I mean? Let's make it bigger. Let's really host it, and I think we'll grow from this. I think it's an important space. Normally when you talk about business, we are there in a restaurant drinking and talking about whatever. So I think it's important to hear other people's perspective. Different industries, big or small, it's very important. Yeah. So thank you a lot. We appreciate you a lot.
Yeah, just on the gratitude part. Momo, well done. Can I just say this? Though Papa, I introduced myself to a mom. I said I was once Momo's boss, but at this event, she's my boss. So we've had conversations about turning this thing into a physical event. You had doubts. Can I say I told you so? It materialized into something beautiful, something fruitful. Today, take away how you planted a seed in our lives. I'm just hoping from this, I don't want to call it a support group because it sounds like we are addicts. But just as a to say, ish, yes, Ziakala, what do you think? Hey, Kiel, me, I don't have hair. Do you have anything for me? Kind of like a thing. But that was the aim behind it, to create a network. Takeaway from today is I've always had doubts about spreading far in terms of things to do. Being Saba, Ngiabonga, you confirmed it. Skuliswe tour, do not put your eggs in one basket. But then they will say, hey, you need to focus. Hey, he's got multiple. I've been counting. He had this company, he's got this company. And all the while, I've been doubtful about branching out to try other things. So for it, when I'm in Tegwini in December, I will come and eat. I will get 80. No, we will talk about that one. Get 80, I'm coming to eat. I am gonna support. That's another thing. Let us support each other. Lerona, I would love 10 years from here or 5 years from here for us to be multi-billionaires. Retomile more, some of us. Really the head start. But for us to have successful well established, great. Us now giving it to the next generation. Because I always say, as black people, I can understand why we do not pass the ladder down. Now we see a valasia. And then when I want a subcontract from Ukakis, is like, yeah. We are experiencing that. But guys, what we learn when we grow, please, can we pass on to others? Danko is.
Well, thank you, Momo. I told you ukuthi ngiyokufunda something.
Yeah.
Now, yeah. Ufundile. And one thing that I like ukuthi whatever benikhuluma ngayo la, ayipheleli la kimi. The seed that you have planted, ama topic wami Monday to Friday.
Sizolalela impela, yes.
That's Virginia. Before Nbonge Umomo, thank you, Duma. Had I not scrolled, if only Nyam to check my live, then I follow Shanga, I wouldn't have seen this. The moment I saw something that said there will be a seminar empowering businesses, a chat, I stopped. I listened. I booked my ticket. 2 days after the conversation, I heard Glentuka go TikTok. So ndiyabonga kakhulu Duma for that. And thank you, Momo. Thank you so much. Nandifundile a lot today. I learned a lot about myself first. Ndazifuna because I had a gap in my heart that can't right. So I revealed about what I'm supposed to do. Zinhle, I heard. And ndifundile nento ukuthi ufune ukudedela imali ukuze wenze imali.
Yeah.
So as from the next year nje, I must make sure that I do my branding right, I do my financials, ngcono ngingabi namali, and then I know which I'll be doing the right thing. Yes. So ndiyabonga kakhulu.
Mina ngicela ukubongela umngani wami lo owangena ku TikTok wathola indoda. Okay. Abangitholi kahle. Uma ngabe umuntu esesindoda, ngoba manje abantu adila ama customer, mengifika ngithi hey wena yabo, ngcono sithi indoda. Uma sithi indoda uzihloniphekile umuntu. Yabo, intombazane le. Intombazane yabo, sikhuluma kanjalo. Ingakho ukuthi ngibonga yena ukuthi wathola indoda. Ngakho sila nase ngivunda okuningi kahle kahle shuthi bengazazi ukuthi ngimi kuphi mina nginayo ibranding registered kodwa into engiyibonayo ngishanayo ngidinga ulasisiluya yena engidingayo sizinhle ngizoba right futhi ngicathi u3 months 4 months mkhulu kakhulu nginawo mase usuqale ngisebenza nawe ngoba sengikwenzile okuningi ukuthi phela bengishoda ngolwazi lo lekuthi ngilithole la ngizofika ngilisebenzisa ngina uAlvaza wami uright lento esikhuluma ngayo la uyayazi yonke ukuthi kuphela omunye umuntu uma usuphile nomuntu uhlala eseduze wakhe ekutshela ngale ungakhole kuncane umuzi uyohamba uyoyifuna uzola umuntu right lo noma uyenza into ayishoyo kodwa musuthiwa nabanye beyifakaza beyisho ubotha ngisendaweni right lapha phela ukuthi ngidinga ukuthi ngifake lo nalo iyo into engidingayo ngicathi u3 noma 4 into engidingayo be right.
So thank you to everyone who came through, who supported the initiative, who believed in it and took their time to come through. Like you guys amazing. Like I believe you, you know, I really appreciate it. So which means so yeah, thank you so much.